Welcome to the AI Preview Show with me, Davey B, Dylan Fitzsimons, and Bomber McCormack. We're going to be previewing the 2021 Con and Annie Kirby Memorial Final and 4 additional open races on the Limerick card. Lads, I'll come to Dylan first. What do you make of this weekend's action?
It's a fair card. A lot of local runners in the open races, then a few riders from the connections that have runners in the big finals. Obviously, the main race is the Kirby. The semi-finals were brilliant last week. The results weren't as expected, but all the main protagonists qualified, which was the main thing. Top Ballymac Belleville was possibly a shade unlucky not to get up on the line for third, but there's a brilliant final in prospect. There's a few good finals with good prize money on the card. Limerick have put on enhanced prize money for every race on the card. A few of the opens are 6, 7, 800 euros. So it's going to be hard to win races down there on Saturday night. But the weather's meant to be decent. The track's going to be in brilliant nick as usual when Tommy Bolton's doing the track up. So I just can't wait to watch it on Racing Post TV. I think it's been accompanied by a few decent enough opens in Hove as well. So should be a good night's racing.
It should be indeed. Bomber, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, this is the night of the year we've all been waiting for now, the Kirby final. As Dylan said, look, the supporting card, it's a fair card. There's a lot of competitions on at the moment. You know, there's the Sarah Mullingar's on, and I think it's the stake in Kilkenny what's the name of the stake, Dylan, again in Kilkenny?
TP Wadwick.
TP Wadwick, yeah, that's on in Kilkenny for the 6 Ben dogs at the moment. And look, you've dogs that ran the 600 in Shelburne the last few weeks, and you've dogs going for the English Derby and the Puppy Oaks. So look, you can't get a Derby final night card, but look, there's top racing, there's an £80,000 prize up for grabs. Look, the Kirby, it's the final, the 6 dogs in the final. You know, there's no fluke, finalists. They're all there on merit. They're serious dogs. They're breeding, they're trainers. I think there's 4 Derby winning trainers in the final, and a local to me and Dylan, Skip Gilbert's in the final as well with Agent Stanley. I think Skip will tell you that he's been in every major final in the country, and now he's added the Kirby to that list. So, look, hopefully it goes well for them. And look, it's just a fantastic final, and it's an open enough final. There's no certainties here. Explosive boy on the way he's been running the competition. You'd say, look, he's definitely the best dog, and he's been running the best. But the way the draw's probably panned out, it's not straightforward for him. And to be fair, I think if he can come out and do his business and win, he's an impressive as a winner of the Kirby we've seen so far. So look, you just don't know. Hopefully it goes well, and hopefully it's a clean race. Sometimes in Limerick there can be a bit of trouble in that, but hopefully we see the 6 dogs come off safe. And look, I'm sure we're going to see all these dogs in future derbies, English derbies, Irish derbies. So look, I'm looking forward to it on Saturday night anyway, and hopefully we can pick a few winners.
Fingers crossed. Or maybe you could copy a few off Dylan.
Yeah, we'll see now. I might actually win one this week.
Hopefully. Right then, let's get into the action. I shall just share the screen. So the first race we're going to preview is the Q Print Open 350. We've got Ballynakill Jet in 1, Gertner Craigie Blake in 2, Milrose Melody in 3, Hidden J-Lo in 4, Confused Fitzy in 5, and in 6, Birdub Jack. Fitzy, what do you fancy?
I just sided with Milrose Melody in here. Look, this probably isn't a great betting proposition of a race now, but I made it between the inside 3. 4, 5, and 6 are all coming a mile up in grade. They're running against proper open class sprinters on their inside now. You know yourself, it's just going to happen a length too fast, more than likely. I sided with Milrose Melody in 3. She's probably the best drawn dog in the race. 2 is a tight railer. I think Ballynakill Jet in 1 wants the outside now. They had a seed on him for a while, as far as I know, and he got bad trouble the first night in the super sprint, moving off the corner from trap 2. He got knocked over last week or 2 weeks ago in the super sprint, moving off from trap 1. It could just be carnage here. I thought 2 might take care of him early, and then that might just play into 3's hands. He might just slip around the corner. He's not won too many races, but he showed up well in a few top class sprints. He was running against Brody's Magic there last week in Shelburne. Now he was a big price. I think he was 60 to 1 nearly on the machine at the off, but he was only a length off the likes of Brody's Magic and Dunham Knoll right on the crown of the bend. That's fair going. if there was a Brody's Magic or a Dunham Knoll in this race, they'd represent the 1 to 4 shots. So, Milrose Melody, he might only be 9 to 4, 2 to 1. Would I bet him at that? Probably not. If I could get 3 to 1, 11 to 4, would I bet him? I'd probably part with a few quid to start the night. But 1 and 2 might come together early. 4, 5, and 6 are coming a mile up in grade. I just thought a sensible start from the middle here, and Milrose Melody can lead into Bend, and he should hang on up the run, and he wouldn't be the strongest sprinter. He's a real 17-second sprinter, but that might play into his hands there with a bit of trouble on either side of him.
So Fitz's fancy for race 2 is trap 3, Milrose Melody. Bomber, what do you fancy?
Yeah, look, I thought it was an interesting enough race, to be fair. Look, it's not the hottest sprint in the world, but they're not easy to win. I'm going to side with Bannakill Jet. I just think he's different grade, to be honest with you. I just think if he was a length better at the traps, he's probably going to be one of the best sprinters in the country. I think he's massive early pace. He ran in the Unrace Stake in Cork with Ballymac Cash Out and Deadly Destroyer and all them types. He was showing massive early pace. He just wasn't staying. And then he came to Shelburne Park and he did some massive runs to third bend, off really poor breaks. Now you just know he's going to suit Dundalk, 400 type of dog, but just maybe his trapping will catch him out in the really top grade. But if he can start coming out of the box, this dog could just do 1850, 1860. It's just the type of dog he is. I do like the dog that Dylan fancies in 3. He has been running with better company. Now it's a length off Zoom as well in the Super Sprint in Cork. And it ran well with Brody's Magic. It's just, it's win record. It's 2 from 14. But to be fair, it's been running with top company. 5 and 6. Confused Fitzy. He's a better strike rate than Dylan anyway, 5 from 7. So, he's coming through the grades. He's winning races. He did 1886 last week. Limerick's running well at the moment. There's no point pretending otherwise. He's a 19-second dog. He's probably improving. The track is good. He's there. We'll see how he turns out. He's 5 from 7. It's a great win record. Same with the bottom dog. He's coming from Galway. He's 3 from 6. They're coming up the grades as well. These are nice dogs. Sprinters usually are like that. They do come up through the grades. They're not like open class dogs. They're special from day one. They improve. They learn how to trap. They not learn how to race. So, I think it's between 1 and 3 as well. I'm going to go with the top because I just think if he half comes out, he could just really do a massive run. And I'm going to side with Bannakill Jet anyway in this race.
So Bomber's fancy for race 2 is trap 1, Bannakill Jet. The next race we're going to preview is race 5, which is the Knocknable Sid Open 350. We've got Galty Extra in 1, Jumeirah Bridge in 2, Mohane Vicky in 3, Two Amigos in 4, Attaboy Leo in 5, and in 6, Pepe Le Pew. Fitzy, what do you fancy?
It's not very inspiring, but I thought Galty Extra was a good thing on the inside here. He's a dog that wants to fence. His early pace is just in a different league to these. I'd probably be putting Jumeirah Bridge second in here for Jerry Holian, but he's just a dog that in Ireland, he's just always going to be stuck between the 2 trips at the very top level. But if he was in the other sprint, Jumeirah Bridge, he'd probably be a short price favourite. It's just Galty Extra really is out of the top drawer now. People would forget how good he was as a pup, and he got stepped up into top sprinting company quite young, which as Bomber will agree with, you don't want to be going into sprinting as a pup against top dogs like Brody's Magic and Grangeville 10, etc., etc. You can just get run over. You can make a seriously good pup look very average very quickly, but he's refound a bit of form for the O'Hanlons. They've sent him down to Tommy O'Donovan to train. He couldn't be in better hands. He's got a draw on the fence here. He'll probably represent, I've put him in 8 to 13. He could easily represent a 2-zone shot come the off now with the new industry SPs, the way they tighten up every jolly. So, it's not too original, but I thought he will win. Two Amigos, Jamie McGee's dog, he ran very well in an S2 in Dundalk a few weeks ago. But again, just coming a mile up in grade here. When he did the run in Dundalk, he looked like a proper Dundalk dog. He didn't suggest to me he wants to be stepped to a top class 350, whereas I think he will be able to compete in 400s with the longer run to the corner. Attaboy Leo, his dog that used to be trained by Pat Buckley, he's moved to Sean de Burka now. He's been running over 5 to 5. He'll definitely seek left from out there anyway early on. So that leaves Pepe Le Pew on the outside. He did a massive run in Clonmel, but just something I find with Clonmel. Sometimes the clocks are very hard to weigh up. Dogs that have lived there their whole lives, just sometimes they just put these massive runs on their card. Pepe Le Pew is undoubtedly an extremely fast dog. He ran very hard to the third bend behind Rural Roads in an A3 there about 7 or 8 days ago. I thought he's the forecast link in this race if that's the way you want to play it. Maybe 162, 126. Again, it's probably not the most original, but I imagine 1 will be short, 2 will be a short price second favourite, and they might bet up to the rest. So if you want to leave 2 out, you might just get tapped for toe into the corner, play the 1-6 forecast here. Or alternatively, I don't know what price she could be in the first race. Another Tommy O'Donovan dog is Abby. She's in A2. She's a top open class bitch. I mean, I put her in 1 to 4, and I can't remember the last time I put a dog in 1 to 4 in Ireland. If there was any 4 to 6, 4 to 7 about, you could get evens 4 to 5 Galti extra. I wouldn't put anyone off the trap 1 double. Two Tommy O'Donovan dogs to win the first 5 races on the card. I found it hard to come up with anything inspiring in this race, but off any semblance of a level start, he should win this quite handily.
So Fitz's fancy for race 5 is trap 1, Galti Extra. Bomber, what do you fancy?
I'm probably going to be accused of copying Dylan again, and
Like always.
I was going to say as well that this was probably my nap of the night, apart from Azabi in the first race. So, look, Galti Extra, he's a league above these. There's no point pretending otherwise. As Dylan said, when he was a pup, I think he did 17.50 in Newbridge as a really raw pup, and he went up to Drumbo then, he did 17.77 as well. And then he went straight in with the likes of Brody's Magic and the top sprint dogs. So, look, he's probably an underrated dog for his ability. He's part of a good litter. They're fair sprinters like Ballymac Galti. Look, I seen this. It's not his card there, but I remember he did 17.80 in Thurles in a sprint before he came up to Shelburne a couple of weeks ago to take on Brody's Magic and them. So, the rest of the field, no disrespect them, I just don't think they're capable of doing a run like that. He's on the fence. Jamira Bridge is a really fast dog. He's 28-20 in Shelburne, but he's not really a sprinter, even in his prime. Now, he's only coming back from injury as well, so look, it's a big ask for him. I think he got KO'd in his last race. 17.70 Cork, it's a grand run, but I just think to be in with these types, like dog like Galti Extra, you're going to need a lot more about you. I will say one thing about Galti Extra. I was a little bit disappointed with him in Cork one night before the super sprint. Now, he ran with Ballymac Maxwell, who is a dual-purpose dog on the course and field and on the track. He's half-bred Ballymac Best out of a course and bit Strawberry Amy. Now, look, he in Dundalk last year, Ballymac Maxwell, was the best dog up the home straight, but he just blew Galti Extra way in the home straight, like in Cork. Now, Cork's 3:30, it's the sharp sprint. I was kind of disappointed in Galti Extra in that race, to be honest with you, but look, there's no Ballymac Maxwell in this race to get at you, and look, he's well capable of doing an 18.60 run from the front. As Dylan said, he's going to be very short. There's no point pretending that he's not going to be. The bottom dog, he is a fast dog. He was actually quite unlucky in the first round of the super sprint in Cork. He actually came out well and went to the bend, but then he got KO'd as well. So, look, he's 16-12 in Clonmel. He can obviously run. There's obviously more ability there. He's 4 from 6. He's 1 second. 5 out of 6 in the top two. Top two. I tell you, whoever has him will be delighted with him. They're not going to be disappointed with him. Look, Attaboy Leo, same as Dylan said, he looked a proper prospect as a pup. He's obviously had his injury problems, and it's nice to see him still on the track, but he's not the dog he was. And even if he was a dog, look, it's not straightforward. It's just coming out and winning this race. The tree bitch, she has a great strike rate. She's just a local dog. She's 18.80 in Limerick. She's respectable. She knows the track probably inside out. So, look, she could put a performance in, but look, I just think Galti Extra, it's his race to lose. I just think he's on the fence. He's in his box. I think 2 also moves off as well. He wants to be in kind of trap 5 and 6 position. So look, I'll go for Galti Extra, and I'd also back up Dylan's double. Now, I wouldn't be backing his Abbey at 3 to 10, but if Galti Extra is 4 to 5 or 4 to 6, I think he's a serious bet.
So Bomber's selection for race 5 is trap 1, Galti Extra. The next race we're previewing is race 6, and that's the Geroid Hegarty 2020 Hurler of the Year 750. In 1, we've got Ballymac Wisdom, 2, Cardi Duke,
3, I Am's Dream, 4, Red Zarunat, in 4, and in 5, Springwood Vardy, and in 6, Sporting Pat. Fitzy, what do you fancy?
Again, fairly unoriginal. I thought Ballymac Wisdom can win this quite handily now. She should lead up the inside. The bitch and 2, Cardi Duke, wouldn't be renowned for going to the corner. I Am's a Dream, can't go to the bend at all. Reds are run out in 4, can't go to the bend. Springwood Vardy is possibly one of the worst trappers there is, and Sporting Pat wants to go around 3 times, let alone one and a half times for Jerry. So I thought Ballymac Wisdom, although she, everyone probably thought should have won that stake, the Coleco Dowling stake in Tralee. It was a hot stake. Now Johnny O'Sullivan's dog that one can run a bit. Ballymac Wisdom was a short order. She was turned over a few times, but she was still clocking 31.10, 31.20 in Tralee. I don't think it's a track that plays to her strengths either. The bends are a bit sharper. She's a bitch, but she's 65 pounds. She runs more like a dog. When she runs in Shelburne, she's just a different animal altogether now. Limerick, there's no Limerick marks in her card, but she'd take very short prices. She was around Limerick last week in preparation for this race. There's good prize money on offer. They would have been there with other dogs anyway, the Dowling. So I imagine they put her in the van and gave her a spin around. I used to think she was a massive short runner over the 750, but she's really turned herself inside out in Shelburne the past probably 6 weeks when she was running over 750. Even when the tracks were desperate slow, she was still seeing it to the line quite handily. I mean, I think on Easter Cup final night, it was given 70 slow. It was probably closer to a full second slow. Sporting Pat was in the race. She was well drawn. She had a good position at the second end, and she couldn't get to Ballymac Wisdom. Saturday night in Limerick, the track is liable to be plus 30, 40, 50 for the 750. Ballymac Wisdom could genuinely give the clock a rattle. I think it's Skywalker Logan's clock 41-41 that he did in the Cambridgeshire final. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Ballymac Wisdom does similar to that. I seen she's been stuck in 2-1 in the card. If the books go up 2-1 on Saturday morning, it's just going to be a knockover. I'd say she'll be much closer to a 4-6 shot now come Saturday night. Anything odds against that, I'd be happy to just keep betting her. I thought Springwood Vardy's a bad dog for Sporting Pat. He has the 600-yard pace. He can just get up her inside. Jerry seated Sporting Pat middle, hoping that she might get out of the box, drop onto the fence and get a clean run at them. But Springwood Vardy's in 5. He's an inside seed, but he's probably the widest runner in the race by an awful long way. Reds Arunart is from the Redzer lines. They all stay strongly. She's Redzer Rene's sister, Lee Gifkins, great bitch over in England. She's a similar mold to that. The Redden said they keep her and they sold Rene. They obviously caught an awful lot of her, but again, 750. She probably wants to go around 2 or 3 times. This race probably would have been more appealing as an 850 for every dog other than Ballymac Wisdom, but it just lends itself for her to go as far clear as she wants, and she's going to put big figures up if she hits the front out the first bend. To be honest, you take very short prices. She leads this race, so if she leads, she wins. I think it's as simple as that now. Sporting Pat, I Am's a Dream. They're your likely forecast links, but any odds against, which might be likely, a lot of the books are liable. Just copy the price in the card. So if you see 7-4, 6-4, just don't hesitate. You can keep back in Ballymac Wisdom at them sort of prices. She was going off 4-7 against Sporting Pat with better placid dog in the race than the other 4 up in Shelburne. So she's liable to be a very short price come off time. I think she'll win with any sensible start.
So Fitz's fancy for race 6 is trap 1, Ballymac Wisdom. Bomber, what do you fancy?
Starting to think I should have went first now. Look, Ballymac Wisdom, she's a class act. She's been one of the top pitchers now for the last over 2 years now. Like I remember actually, I thought she was a lot older than she actually is, but she's just been running since she was 16, 17 months old. I think she won the gold collar back, and she's nearly over a year and a half ago now. Look, she's a classy bitch. I honestly thought the run she did in the first round of the 570 Coleco Down stake in Tralee was a ridiculous run. I actually thought it was probably, on a fast track, it was probably going to be a track record. Like there was a 31.01. Like the other heats were 1:31.50 and 40. Like, and then they came closer together in the next weeks, but she was just in that, in that mode. She won 4 in the bounce. Then she won 3 750s in Shelburne in top grade. She came into that stake in Tralee and she just did ridiculous runs. Now she struggled to to get involved early with the other dogs, as Dylan said, Johnny O'Sullivan's dog, and that they could go to the front. But look, she's back in a 750, and she's the best early pace in this race. And if she leads, I just couldn't see her being beaten. Like, you know, in Shelburne Park, as Dylan said, I didn't think she was the greatest stayer over 750, but she kicks on again and she wants to win. She's as genuine as a dog can be. Like, and to be fair, you know, Akulavani Angie, they're mostly like that, you know. Look, I Am's Dream. I'm actually amazed I Am's Dream can actually stay 750, and it probably wants further. Its breeding is pure early pace, and it's also by Scalera, me daddy. Like, you're kind of thinking, if it was a pup, you'd be hoping, geez, I hope this stays 55, never mind 750 or 850. But yeah, look, she did 41.26 in Shelburne Park. Like, you can't be pushed around to do it. Now, I did notice one thing about her is that she's not really good early on, and the race she won, the race fell, that she got a run early on and she basically got a solo. Now, saying that, this race is also kind of similar for her, that she's going to probably get a clean run at Ballymac Wisdom. So you could see them go head to head and see what that run she did equates to. But look, Ballymac Wisdom has a lot of class. Springwood Vardy, like, he ran unbelievable in the 600 on the Ledger final night, you know, with Doolan Duke. Like, he nearly got Doolan Duke, who won the English Consolation Derby. Like, so look, it shows you how good of a dog he is. Look, he's only coming back from injury, 29-22 in Clonmel in the solo. That's not him. Like, you know, he's not the dog he was at the moment, and hopefully he comes back well in the summer. We'll get to see him again. But you know, he would have been in the 600 yard in Shelburne if he was right, you know, that kind of way. Or he would have been in the Cesarich probably as well. Look, he's also a poor trapper. He was never really, in my mind, also ideal for 750 because, you know, he probably doesn't really stay 750 and he can't get to the front early. Now, I'm talking about dog when he's in his prime, but look, hopefully he comes back and runs well. And then look, Sport and Pat for Jerry Griffin. She probably wants 1,000 and, you know, probably 1,500 yards. You know, yeah, if they could probably run from Kerry to Limerick, she'd probably keep going. But look, she's a class act. She was second in the Ted Hegarty, but she's an 1,000 yards prospect. You know, TV trophy if they actually brought her over to. You know, she just keeps going. I just think Ballymac Wisdom, and that has too much class for over 750. And, you know, Sport and Pat's only chance to beat Ballymac Wisdom would maybe over like 850 or further. Like, but look, things will have to go. Look, but if there's trouble between IAMS and Ballymac Wisdom, if you see Sport and Pat in your win mirrors, I tell you one thing, you know, you'd be sweating. Like, she just comes with a huge run. She won great the last day in Shelburne. But yeah, look, I'll go for Ballymac Wisdom, but it's an interesting race anyway.
So Bomber's selection for race 6 is trap 1, Ballymac Wisdom. The next race we're going to preview is race 8, and that's the Sean O'Connor Cup Final. We've got Bling Bling Paul in 1, Jacob Tashadelic in 2, Navy Blue in 3, Deadly Tornado in 4, Barney's Road in 5, and all for the best in 6. Fitzy, what do you fancy?
At likely prices, I wanted to be with Barney's Road here. Obviously, we referenced in our very first preview show for the Kirby the reports coming out of Capaway for this dog, where, you know, everyone was singing from the same hymn sheet there. Everyone that was talking about the Kirby knew that the Buckley Kennel thought an awful lot about this dog. He trapped well the first night from the inside, but the reality is he's wanted the outside all along. As probably could have guessed from his solo trials, I think he had middle to wide comments in a few of them. He's been putting the outside his last 2 starts in the Sean O'Connor Cup, and he's just completely missed the start. I mean, he's refused to come out of the box. Like, he's done a 151, a 147. If he does that again, he has no chance here. But on his debut, this dog looked like he had massive early pace. Last week, after doing a 151, getting a bit of bother on the run up, his pace down the back is ridiculous. Like, absolutely tore behind Jacob Tashadelic, who's going to be favourite in here. Now, he got stopped again at the third bend, but like he made the dogs in that race look silly. And that was a race full of early pace. Talking Romeo Magico, Adamant Best, Jacob Tashadelic, arguably 3 of the best early pace dogs that were even originally in the Kirby, let alone the Sean O'Connor Cup. He must have taken 3.5, 4 lengths out of them from into the second bend to the third bend. He was stopped dead again, but I thought if he can just find the start from somewhere. Deadly Tornado in 4 is the fastest starter in this field. He's diving left. All for the best in 6. Isn't the starter. Doesn't go to the bend, and he's wide as houses. He's still not turning the bends great. he could have the Red Sea Barney's road to get a run here. I thought Jacob Tashadelic in 2 has turned the corner recently. He's just started getting the trip a bit better from Elias O'Connell. He was struggling in Tralee. Now the track was back a long way in that Juvenile Classic most nights. The weather was miserable. But he can get involved with Deadly Tornado here. Tashadelic doesn't want to be on the inside on the bend. Deadly Tornado does want to be on the inside in the bend. They're both fast starters. They're going to want different ground on the corner. They can easily come together. And if Barney's Road's on the premises, even if he's just on Deadly Tornado's back here, he could just swoop around the corner here, around the outside. And if he hits the front up the second bend, he's gone. He'll take 4 or 5 lengths out of these with a clear run down the back straight. I think Berkey's gone 9-2. I will bet that tomorrow morning now. I've not got around to it yet. I'll definitely be betting him. If he produces any sort of a start here, he's drawn to win this. And he was doing 28 40s and 50s in qualifying trials. If this dog went down to 28, 25 or 30 tomorrow, there wouldn't be too many shocked faces watching RPG TV, put it that way. This dog's a machine. There's no doubt about it. The talk about him before his debut, his breed and his qualifying trials, the pace he showed in races, he's just going to put it together one night, and he's drawn to do that on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to hopefully him putting his best foot forward in his 4th start. We'll see how good he really is then.
So Fitz's fancy for race 8 is trap 5, Barney's Road. Bomber, what do you fancy?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting race, to be fair. It kind of was a bit of a shock when you see in the big names that were in the consolation stake at the start, like Romeo Magico and the likes of Vipers Buzz and them. Like, there's a couple here that you kind of thought you probably didn't have thought you see them in the final. Like, look, Barney's Road was always a big name coming into the competition. He went in as an unraced pup. It was a massive ask for any dog, no matter what you are. He's ran well to keep in the stake. The pace he showed last week was exceptional. Like, you can just see, why they've been talking this dog up. He's obviously very fast in a solo trial. Just the one thing for me at the moment. Now, I know he's a pup and that, but the 150 sectionals, like, in 147, like, they're diabolical. Like, no matter what you are, you're always giving yourself such a handicap to try and win these races. Like, there's bad breakers who do slow starts, like high 130s or 140s and that, but that's their makeup. Like, as Dylan said, Barney's Roads probably looks to be an early pace dog, and his breeding, they're early pacers. Like, and you're just giving yourself a lot to do. Look, he took lengths out of Jacob Tashadelic in that last week, but the difference in Limerick is that it's just about getting around the first 2 bends for me. Jacob Tashadelic, I'm going to go with Jacob Tashadelic. Look, he was in the Juvenile Classic final. He was leading in the races. Like, you're looking at his card, Ballymac Belvote and them were the only dogs picking him up. Now, he's well capable of breaking 130 for sectional, which he hasn't done yet. But off his splits in Tralee, he's doing low 3 seconds, and he was one of the best early pacers in Tralee. Him and probably Zoom, but like, he's well capable of doing a 124, low 120s. And if he gets out, now look, the problem he has is Deadly Tornado is a massive early pacer. So he's a massive starter. I wouldn't say massive early pace, but he's a massive starter, and he dives for defense. But he is inconsistent. He either hits it or he doesn't hit it. That kind of way. I think the way he charges or traps, and that he either comes through the bars or he makes a false start. So look, I just think Jacob Tashdella could just squeeze up his inside at the bend, and if he does, Deadly Tornado's not getting across, and he'll be in the way of other dogs. I just think with Barney's Road, like, for him to get a clean run is going to be near impossible. All for the Best is definitely the best drawn dog in the race. There's no question about that. And if Barney's Road repeats a bad sectional, he's getting, he has to lead Barney's Road, which he probably will off his sectionals if he repeats Barney's Road. But look, he's been running, he's just been winning, and he's just a proper dog. Like, he's been running well. You can't really fault. All for the Best. But look, it's an open enough contest, to be fair. The Bling Bling dog ran great last week as well. You have to give him credit as well. He's also been running well in the stake. And look, Navy Blue, he's not showing the form he has been he did in Shelburne when he was a pup. He's qualifying 29 seconds, 28 80s and that. But look, he's a lot more ability than he's showing. Now, look, I don't think he's a chance in this race, but maybe in a couple of weeks, couple of months, you'll see a completely different dog. But look, I'll go with Jacob Tashadelic, but it's an open enough contest. But hopefully, look, I hope, for viewing point of view, I hope we see Barney's Road come out of the box and, you know, put what he can do. And, you know, wouldn't surprise me if he's on the Pat Buckley team for the English Derby if he does a big run.
So Bomber's selection for race 8 is trap 2, Jacob Tashadelic. Race 9, and it's the main event. It's the 2021 Con and Annie Kirby Memorial 525 final. We've got Agent Stanley in 1, The Machine in 2, Explosive Boy in 3, Sing Along Sally in 4, Ballymac Merlin in 5, and in 6, Stone Park Leo. Fitzy, what do you fancy?
I thought there's a lot of ways you could go about this race. You know, to be honest, it's one of them. If this is a race in England, I wouldn't have a bet in it because it's such a good final to enjoy. Just to get so few opportunities, try and get a few quid out of the Irish race, and I've explored a few angles here. I have been back in Stone Park Leo during the week to win the final. He came on 500 yards last week. Like, he just looked a different dog last week. Now the track was as good as it's been throughout the whole Kirby. I mean, there was an A1 after the Kirby won in 28:40. That tells you all you need to know about how the track was running. But he came forward 50 spots. He stayed a lot stronger. He didn't even trap as well as he has in other rounds. He just blew Sing Along Sally away to the bend. Like, I thought he's well drawn here now. Ballymac Merlin will edge left. Although Ballymac Merlin's the best drawn dog in the Kirby, in my opinion. Everyone knows what Sing Along Sally is going to do out the boxes. And it's why I can't understand the Explosive Boy price. I mean, I had a conversation with someone during the week. He asked me what price I'd back Explosive Boy at. Honestly, I don't know what price I'd back him at, but I'd really struggle to put my hand in my pocket and take a bit of hard earned out and place an Explosive Boy in this race at any sort of price. I make it 10s on, he gets interfered with on the run up. And then a race of this nature, if you're going to lose ground on the run to the corner, your chance can go up in thin air so quickly. If he just gets clipped by Sing Along Sally, of course he can still win. If Sing Along Sally comes out of the box a half length in front of him and covers him completely, I'll go out on a limb and say Explosive Boy can't win the Kirby then. If he's not in front out the second bend, I don't think he'll win this final. And to be perfectly honest, it would be a shame. He's been the best dog in the Kirby by a country mile. He'd be the most deserving winner for Peter Sutcliffe and Pat Guilfoyle. But greyhound racing is all about draws. It's all about winning the final. Unfortunately, you get nothing for winning the first 4 rounds. And he's just been given a miserable draw. He really didn't deserve it for how good he's been the last 4 weeks now. You know, if you swap 3 and 4 around, Explosive Boy is a 1-3 shot in this final. But that's just the nature of greyhound racing. It's what makes it exciting. It's instead of what could have been seen as a bit of a non-event, now there's 100 different ways this final can go. I think it's brought every single dog in the final into it. I originally gave Ballymac Merlin little to no chance when he made the final. Like I've heard the Dowland say it themselves. This dog is a lot better than he's been shown. It obviously doesn't surprise me. The qualifying trials, his breeding, etc., etc. But he's been given a draw that if he could just produce his best start, put his best foot forward, you never know. You know, if he was inside Sing Along Sally, he probably goes from having a small chance to no chance. But that was the one thing everyone wanted to know in this draw, and it came out where's Sing Along Sally going to be. You know, if you swap Skip's dog Agent Stanley and Ballymac Merlin around, Skip's dog would be probably a 5-2 shot with that sort of draw. Instead, he's going to represent an 8 or 9 to 1 shot in the machine. But I think Agent Stanley has a chance here. I can see how it can fall into his lap. If he blasts out, it's a big ask switching from the middle to trap 1. But if he does trap and he leads around the bend, there could be an awful lot of goalkeepers in this race. So I'm of the opinion between Agent Stanley, Explosive Boy, Sing Along Sally, Ballymac Merlin, Stone Park Leo, whichever one leads out of them 5, I'm not sure any of the other 5 will pick them up, and vice versa. I think it's fairly cut and dry. They all have to lead to win. Well, lead around clean and out of the dogs in the race. I thought Agent Stanley and Stone Park Leo were the 2 most likely early pacers to lead clean. That brings the machine into the race for the Matthews family. I mean, he did 28:32 last week, which is hard to believe because after the race, I was sitting there saying, geez, I think the machine's run a bit flat. I had to watch the race back a few times. I thought, has he picked up an injury out the second bend? But like, you know yourself, it's just the Stone Park Leo dog and Sing Along Sally have come forward so much again. that the reality is you just can't come from 5 or 6 lengths behind these dogs every week and make it look easy. But in a race of this nature, this is the perfect draw for the machine. Obviously, 1's coming across, 3's coming left, but draws don't matter to a dog like him. His best chance in the final is if it can potentially get messy. And that's exactly what this final has written all over it now. So, you know, the Matthews are probably hoping Agent Stanley comes out through the bars, runs off the corner. And it's not a big price. The machine lands into second out the second bend, and then it's just a case of whether he can get there in time. I just sided with Stone Park Leo to win the final, but I really couldn't push anyone to make an investment into the race itself in the win market. Unless if Explosive Boys under 6-4, I'll be a big layer, and I'll lay him in the place market as well if possible. It pains me to say I just can't have him from his draw, which is a shame. But I'll also play 1-2-6, 6-2-1. I thought one of 1 or 6 will lead around in the final here. The machine should get a run at them, and whichever one of 1 and 6 leads, the other one won't be able to hold off the machine, in my opinion. So, you know, you're probably talking 150, 200 to 1 for TriCast there. The machine to be second to either the top or the bottom, and the other one to fall back into third. So, you know, if you want to throw a bit of shrapnel at the race, that might be the best way to play it. But personally, I'd love to see Agent Stanley blow the bars down and win the race for Pat Flanagan, Erwin Burkmeyer, and Marion Des Gilbert. Be a great success for a very small kennel these days. They only have 8 or 9 dogs. They're local to the two of us. They were training a dog for something until a few weeks ago. They still have one for me and a few of the other lads. So it would be great to see a small kennel win a nice 80 grand pot.
So Fitz's selection for race 9 was trap 6, Stone Park Leo. Bomber, what do you fancy?
Yeah, look, as you said, this is the main event. This is the one we've all been waiting for. You know, every man in greyhound racing, every man, woman and child in greyhound racing wants to be in this final. You know, with the prize money, it's just fantastic, like €80,000 to the winner. Before we even get into the race, just have to say how much this actually means to greyhound racing, this kind of money. You know, like this competition, you know, it's an £80,000 stake. Like, people have no idea, some people have no idea how much that filters through the industry. Like, you know, you're coming down from, you know, this encourages people to buy dogs, this encourages people to breed dogs, and, you know, they go hand in hand. The more people that want to buy, the more breed, and then, you know, it's just a fantastic stake, and the McManus family have put the money up, and, you know, it's, like, in my mind, it goes Irish Derby, English Derby, and now the Kirby, and, like, you know, it's just fantastic. Like, in the prize money, look, you're guaranteed over 4 grand for getting to the final. I think it's 18,500 for second. I think it's whatever 9,000 for third, and 80,000 to the winner. Like, and I'm not trying to run it down or anything, but like, when you're looking at the likes of the Cat Ones in England at the moment, you know, £5,000 to the winner, like, and, you know, with this stake, the money that's in this stake, you know, it really reflects the sport well, this stake, and dogs should be running for bigger prizes like this, and it's important to maintain a high level of prize money with this. But look, not trying to get into the politics side of anything, but look, this is a fantastic race. It's going to be probably a messy race, but look, the dogs that are in the race, the trainers, the people that have them, the owners, like, I'd love to be going down to Limerick on Saturday tomorrow night, and, you know, I know me and Dylan, a couple of lads, would probably be heading down to Limerick for a couple of drinks to watch the Kirby and a few bets if we could in normal times. But look, it's an open enough contest. You know, it looked like Explosive Boy was the main dog coming into the stake. He's probably been the best dog in the stake. You can't really argue about it. But the way the race has panned out, it's kind of a disaster for him. But it's brought the other dogs into the race, which makes it more exciting than having a dog that you think he's an odds-on shot to easily win the final. Agent Stanley, I'll go through the card. You know, Agent Stanley, look, Daisy Gilbert's local to me and Dylan. Pat Flanagan, who owns him, literally lives 5 minutes down the road from me as well. And Eric Burkmeyer, who's a big course and breeder. The connections, they had a really top bitch, Jamaica Judy, in the course and Oak semi-final a couple of years ago. And she was trained by Michael O'Donovan, who was the bottom dog, or Mark O'Donovan, should we say nowadays. But look, Agent Stanley, he's a great dog. Skippy was telling me about him since he was a pup. He did 17, 90 in Drumbo, 13 months old, when Burkmeyer had him schooling them. And this just shows you, that's when you do a run like that, you're dreaming, geez, we could have a really Kirby dog. And this is why Agent Stanley has ended up. And to be fair to Skip, the dog got injured as a young dog. He did 28.50 on his debut and 21.50 in Dundalk. And, you know, he got injured. And I remember we were in Skip's place at the time, he was saying, oh, we don't know if he's going to come back the same dog. And you just don't know till you put them around. And fair play to Skip. He's managed this dog great. He's now in the Kirby final. Like it's as good as you could have hoped for, and he's not without a chance in this race as well. I've been scrutinising him for the last few weeks, saying I'd have a wider middle seat on him, and Skip is showing me and Dylan up that he's in the final, and it's worked well from being an inside seed. Now look, he's never been in trap one, but my opinion, he has to be on the inside of Explosive Boy to be able to beat him, because he's similar to Explosive Boy to the bend, but Explosive Boy just has that extra probably 2 lengths into the third bend, 2.5 lengths, then Agent Stanley. His best chance, I actually think the straws worked out perfectly for Agent Stanley, because you sing along Sally and Ford. She could do him a favor if she troubles the machine, or if she troubles Explosive Boy early. Agent Stanley could just find himself bleeding up at the inside of the rail. Now look, it's a tough ask, because even if Agent Stanley can lead Explosive Boy and sing along Sally, which if trouble happens, he will. He still has to beat Stone Park Leal in the back straight. So look, it's not an easy race, but it's a Kirby final. It's not supposed to be an easy race. You have to go and win it. It's not going to be handed to you. And I just hope he goes well for Skip. And I love to see Skip win a big one like this. He's been in, as he tell you himself, as I mentioned earlier, he's been in all the big finals. I think he's won 2 Night of Stars and 2 runners. So look, he's a great strike rate. He's a great trainer. And I'd love to see him and Pat Flanagan win the stake as well. The Machine, I'm going to go with The Machine for this race. I just think this race is made for him. Agent Stanley is going to clearly trap ahead of him. There's no question about that. And he's going to move out to the middle. And, Sing Along Sally, she could cut the head off Explosive Boy. And, a messy race is what The Machine wants. Like, if you actually look at the distances that he's always within half a length of short ahead of the dogs. In like Explosive Boy got a clean run in I think it was the third round, whenever he did 28.08 or something. And I think the Dead Machine was half a length off him. You're talking about, if Explosive Boy gets trouble, the Machine can get a clean run like he did that night. He's a big threat in this race, and he's probably going to be a backable price as well. Look, the Matthews family have won 2 Kirby's before. It wouldn't surprise if they won another one with this dog. I just think he surprised me now, to be fair. I didn't think he was as good as what I've seen of him now in the last few weeks, but he did go over to the English Puppy Derby and get to the final as a raw pup. So you have to give credit where credit is due. And he's a classy dog. He's in a Kirby final, he's in an English Puppy Derby final. His win record isn't the greatest. He's only ever won 1 race from his debut, but you wouldn't be complaining if you're in all the big races that he's in. I just think he's a great chance. This race could be messy and he could get involved. Look, Explosive Boy, he's the best dog in the stake. As Dylan says, it's unfortunate for him the way the final has probably panned out. As he said, if him and Sing Along Sally were reversed, he's probably an easy odds-on shot in the betting. Now, not to win it, but he would be an odds-on shot. It's just I just think if he comes out in this race, if he can come out and do his thing and win this race, he's one of the all-time greats that I've seen, because this is not an easy race, and he's been the best dog in the stake, and he broke the third bend clock in Limerick twice. If he can come out and win this race, you just have to he's just an amazing dog. And this is his toughest test of his career so far. And look, I hope he goes well as well. But it's a big ask. He's going to probably be shorter than he should be. But look, he's the best dog in the stake, and people will still respect that as their opinion. Sing Along Sally, she won the Juvenile Classic. She's just a classy bitch. She's a relatively short career. She went straight from the Juvenile Classic into Kirby. She won the Juvenile Classic. She's in the Kirby final. She's just a class act. Now look, this is a massive task. She won the Juvenile Classic from 4 from a bad draw. She somehow got out through the bars and got across. I can't see her doing that again. Not with Explosive Boy and Agent Stanley. If she can do that again, it'd be a miracle. Honestly. And look, she's a really good bitch. I hope she comes off safe and sound as well. Even though she probably will cause the trouble if there will be any. Look, you probably see her in the English Derby, maybe the Irish Oaks. I have a feeling they're going to go to the English Derby with her. But look, I hope she goes well. But look, she she's up again here, from the draw. If she was in 1, you give her a chance, or 1 or 2, but not from this draw. Look, Ballymac Merlin, I'm probably going on here a bit. Look, Ballymac Merlin, I always liked this dog from his qualifying trials, from his first race in Tralee. I picked him a few nights when we were doing the cards. Look, people probably don't give him enough respect that he has this thing of, oh yeah, he's not showing what he is. this dog is a seriously fast dog. There's no point pretending that he's not. He's in the Kirby final. You know, like I've seen plenty of dogs that are, rated better dogs than him. You know, they're not in the Kirby final, and he's in a chance for €80,000. You know, it's a brilliant litter, the Ballymac Bell litter at the moment. You know, himself and his brother Belvut, and I think it's Declan Byrne has a really fast bitch in the Puppy Oaks and Shelburne as well. So look, they're a great litter. He's a classy dog. I think he's made for the show. I think he's made for 550 in Shelburne. I just think you'll see the best of him when he runs there. Like, he's just a seriously fast dog. And look, the Downlands aren't selling. They're not looking to get rid of him or anything. So, he just could be one of the top dogs in the country by the end of the year. And look, Stone Park Leo, me and Dylan said at the start of the stake, Michael O'Donovan entered this dog in the Kirby as an A3 dog. Like he came in the stake as an A3 dog, and now he's probably one of the fancy dogs to win the stake. He did 17.50 in Waterford. It was a serious sprint, but I remember he was entered for an A3 stake in Shelburne and they were through him. So obviously he did a massive private trial in Limerick or Clonmel. You seen that last week. He did 28.25 in the race. He did a 4:09 sectional. He broke 16 seconds to the third bend. He's clearly a very talented dog. We knew that from the fact he was entering the stake. His breeding, he's a half brother to Riverside Leo, who was a seriously top dog. He had an unbelievable win record over 525. This dog has massive early pace as well, and he is the best drawn dog in this race. If he repeats the split he did last week, he's going to do a fast clock to the third bend. And if there's any trouble in the inside with the early pacers, he's now the best early pacer, and it's only the machine that can catch him. Do you know what I mean? If there's trouble in the inside and he comes out, there's only one dog that can pick up Stone Park Leo for me, and it's the machine. And that things have to go right for him as well. So look, he's a big chance. He's with the right man. They won the select stakes during the week in Waterford, Michael and Mark. So look, it's an open enough final. I'm going to go with the machine at big prices. I just think the race could fall for him. But I'm telling you one thing, I think every dog in this race has a chance, and it could be run 50 times. You get different results every time, and it's just one of them races. And it'll probably be easy in hindsight to say if one of the dogs win, but look, before this race, you could have 3 picks of this race and you wouldn't pick the winner. Do you know that kind of way? So look, I've been on for too long now, but I'll go on for the machine anyway. But hopefully we see a top class race tomorrow night, and hopefully we'll have a top class winner as well.
Hopefully so. Bomber's selection for race 9 is trap 2, the machine. Right, lads, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it as always, and I'm sure the followers, viewers, listeners appreciate it as well.
Cheers, Davey.
Cheers for having us on, Davey. Hopefully there's a few winners in there tomorrow night anyway. Should be a decent night's racing.
Hopefully, and hopefully Bombers copied a couple of winners as well.
Hopefully I can beat Dylan for once.
You'd need to not copy a few of the selections to beat me, lad.